woman whose husband went overseas. And they came and they said to him, told her, your husband passed away, died. And then she gets married. And then the husband shows up. The husband comes. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She has to leave both husbands. The second husband, why? Again, because she's a married woman. But even the first husband, she's not permitted to go back to. The first one, we understand she needs to get. What does she need to get from the second? Also, the Gemara is going to explain that. She needs to get even from the second husband, although it's not a marriage. It's Rabbanan. Ve'ein lo l'ksuba v'lo peiros lo bezonos. She doesn't receive a ksuba. Peiros, let's say he ate her fruit, the profits off a field. She's not reimbursed. Lo bezonos, she's not. Lo blows, lo zeh al zeh, v'lo al zeh. From neither husband. She has no claim. V'im not lo bizeh mizeh. If she did take, Tarsi, she has to give it back to the families of the husbands. V'avalad mamzer mizeh mizeh. It's the chiddush. The second one is a mamzer. It's understood, right? This is a mamzer doraisa. She's a married woman. But the chiddush is that from the first one, after this happens, if he has relations and she has a child, it's even a mamzer from their first husband. It's a mamzer jerabonim. It's also a penalty. Let's say they're kohanim, they're not permitted to cremate her, right? Even though the first one's a husband. Neither of them. If she should find something, a lost article, normally the husband gets it. They don't have it. Her earnings, they don't take. And they don't have the ability to make it net. Although the first husband should be able to, because he's still the husband. This pre-divorce, he can't. Again, this is part of the penalty. That means after this, because she did an adulterous act, she can marry a Kohen afterwards, even another Kohen. Ubas Levi min Amaser. This is Drabanan, because there's no such thing as Zona, right? Ubas Levi. There's no, the whole concept being defiled has no relevance to Ubas Levi. Ubas Kohen min Atruma. If she's Bas Kohen, she doesn't go back to her father's household because she's a Chalola. Then Yorshin shel Zeh v'shel Zeh. Yorshin is Ksubasa. Neither inherit the Ksubasa. The Gemara's an answer. We already said she doesn't have a Ksubasa. So what are they inheriting? V'meisu echov ochiv shel Zeh v'ochiv shel Zeh. Let's say the brother of the first husband died, and the second, this is pre-get. Okay. Pre-get. Choltzav lo biyabin. Both give chalitz no yibum, even though the first one should be able to give yibum. Right? We don't, rabbinically, we say chalitz. The second one should have to give nothing. Rabbinically, we see them as if they're married, because we said they have to give a get. So therefore, they have to give chalitza. Rabbi Yossi miksubosa al nichse by lo rishon. Rabbi Yossi says that the ksuba is attached to the estate of the first husband, because that's the husband which is a Torah husband. Rabbi Lozo meharishin zakim tziyoso. The first husband, no, he still has all the husband rights. He receives her what she finds, masiyudeh, her earnings. Aforce nodire, he still could nullify her vows. Reb Shimon Omer biyoso chalitzosim yochiv shel rishon. If let's say the brother does yibum or chalitzo, puteres tzarosa, the tzara is free to remarry. Why not? Right? There was a co-wife. Vein of lab mamzer. He argues. Reb Shimon argues with the Tanakam. Tanakam says that even if she has a child from the first husband, it's a mamzer. He argues, no, why should it be a mamzer? The child's kosher child. Vein of lab mimena mamzer. Vimnisi shlo brishus. Okay, now new case. Vimnisi shlo brishus. The Gemara is going to say, what happens if she was married with two witnesses? Testified not with one witness. The meizbalo shlo brishus means she didn't consult with Bezdin because she didn't need a Bezdin because she had two witnesses. Okay? Teitzeg. And then the husband shows up. Right? So muteris lausalo. She's permitted, if the husband shows up, she's permitted to go back. Nisis alpi bezdin. Teitzeg. Again, she has to leave the second husband. Uptur min korban. And she's even absolved from bringing a korban. It's considered an onus. It's not even a shogeg. Because the zipsak bezdin, it's like an onus. We'll see Rashi in a moment. He says alpi bezdin. Yeah, he says, the Yochid Shos Varoz Bezdin Potter. An individual who marries based on the Psak of Bezdin, you put from a korban. Okay? Lo Nisis Alpi Bezdin. What about if the Bezdin, it was just witnesses, the Bezdin didn't give a Psak that she could remarry, but she had witnesses? Chayevis Bekorban. She has to bring a korban because it's not Horaz Bezdin. So it's considered a shogeg.
Okay.
Okay?
But she still stays married.
She's permitted because she's. Yeah. Yofe kor bezdin. So we see the kor sheptoris pochero b'da korban. So we see the power of bezdin is better, is stronger. She's right. Whatever rule bezdin inosivochlav kilko. They ruled that she's permitted to remarry, and rather than marry, she had an illicit relationship with a single man.
Okay.
And then the husband shows up. Chayevs b'korban. Why? Because what was the psak of bezdin? Not you're a single woman.
Right.
They said you're permitted to remarry. That was the horus. That was the psak. Therefore, as a result of that, therefore she has to bring a korban if she had an illicit relationship. She goes back to the first husband. Yep. Now, the Gemara says, Miriktani Seifo. The conclusion of Mishnah says, Nisish Lobashus Bezdin. Muteres Lasalo. She's permitted to go back to the first husband.
But she doesn't have the permission. Right?
Wait a second. That's exactly what the words means. Nisish Lobashus Bezdin. The Bezdin wasn't involved. The Mishnah says, Muteres Lasalo.
She can
Go back to the first husband.
good.
Shlobashus Bezdin. So what does mean Shlobashus Bezdin? Ela Be'edim. That means because she had bona fide witnesses, she had two witnesses. That's the reason why you allow. Machlal the ratio. So what the ratio? The ratio doesn't discuss Rishus Bezdin, not Rishus Bezdin. Says she was married, right? When then it right based bailuch, and they said her husband died and she was married. It's not discussed Alpi Bezdin, not Alpi Bezdin. So what does that mean? Machlal the ratio Rishus Bezdin. Wait a second, because she had to have some kind of evidence.
Something.
So, because no, but wait a second. But an eid echo is not as simple as two witnesses is bona fide evidence. One is not. So therefore, you need Bezdin to be involved. So Bezdin, as a result of the evil that Bezdin gave a psak, nevertheless, ubeid echod. Alma. So what do we say? Eid echod nemon. Right now, the Gemara holds eid echod is believed even for our situation, midoraisa on a Torah level, which means if the Bezdin accepts the testimony of eid echod on a Torah level, even though she was Leishas Ish, she's permitted to marry. The Gemara later is going to show it's not the case. It's not true. Right? Echad nem is Bisur. Here we're talking about a Dov Shebe'erva. We're speaking about over here. This. Yeah, that's going to be tomorrow's question on the next page. Okay? Utanan Nami. And it says, we learned in the Mishnah, Hulzaku, if you, right, Lios Misiin, Eid Mi Pi Eid, Ishim Pi Isha, which is not normally accepted. Right? Isha Mi Pi Isha, Isha Mi Pi Eved, Pi Shivcha, almost evidently, what do we see? This is regard to a woman remarrying. That although this testimony is not accepted somewhere else, but in regard to this, you see, it's otherwise how she's nishis, how she could remarry. Evidently, it must be that if the Bezdin evaluates, says it's acceptable, Utanan, Nami Echor Omer. Wait, the Gemara is going to ask that. The Gemara is going to ask. So the Gemara is going to explain that. The Gemara is going to explain that. Utanan Nami. Well, what the Rashi says in the Mishnah, like this, because the Bezdin only said we accept the testimony of one witness only because we believe you're going to check it out. Evidently, you didn't check it out well enough. So therefore, we penalize you. That's the reason. Okay, we'll see. Utanan Nami. Normally, you should not go mitzvah. You didn't do enough investigating. Otherwise, how did the guy show up? Okay? Utanan Nami. Single witness says to a person, you ate chaylev. We're talking about inadvertently. He says, I never ate. Potter. He doesn't have to bring korban. Timer do Omar lo achalti, because there he's contradicting. Right? That's called chakin one against one. Right? Ha'ishtik, but it seems to be if he wouldn't contradict, he says, I don't know. If he would say, I don't know, then what is the basis? The basis is the erechot, ha'ishtik, almo, erechot mehem d'oraisa. So evidently, the erechot is believed on the Torah level. So Rashi says, why? Because if he wouldn't believe it on the Torah level, it's a question of chulam ba'zora. How did a kohen eat the korban? Right? Evidently, because through the erechot, we accept this testimony on the Torah level, therefore you can bring the korban. It's not chulam ba'zora. Someone says, no, where do we see from a pasuk that on the Torah level you believe in Eid Echad? Not the Tanya. Oh, hoda elav chadoso. That means the person, when he ate the chaylev, didn't realize it became known to him his inadvertency. What is the connotation of it became known to him? That means it seems from himself. Lo sheyidu acherim. Other people should not inform him. What does that mean? Yocha api she'eno machisho ye potur. So if that's the case, it seems to be he has to come upon his university himself. But let's say he's informed by others. Wait, maybe you shouldn't bring a korban, right? Maybe. Talmud loma ohoda elov became known, regardless. It became known regardless. So how do we reconcile it? Right? If two people come and he doesn't contradict them, right? What do we post? That's poshut, right? That's evidence. That's just on fact. That's fact. Elav chad, the chiddush is chad. It's a single witness. Because a single witness, if you makish him, you contradict him, you dismiss him. So the chiddush is, right? Elav chad b'chilo makish lemehemin. But yet it says if he doesn't, so that's the case. So hold the leiv chatoso. Shmamino eid echod nemon. So you see from here that eid echod is nemon on Torah level. He brings a korban. Again, Rashi says, otherwise it's chum bazora, right? So Moses says, "Mai, what's the proof? Mimai, who said the reason why she brings the korban is because he believed eid echod dilm bishum dekoshosik. Maybe because when he tells him and remains silent, he recalls himself ushtika kodo damya. It's his own admission, right? It's true when then I didn't realize. Now thinking back, now I realize I made a mistake. Teda, where do we see that it simulated shtika kodo? It's not that you believe eid echod. The Ketani Sefer, Omru Shnaim Ochalto Chelev. Two people say to a person, you ate chelev. That's hardcore evidence, right? V'omer lo achalti, and he contradicts the two. Potter. So what is he potter? Aye, but if you're telling me that what an outside source is sufficient, so you see you don't believe testimony.
Right.
So and you can't contradict two witnesses. You say one against one, you contradict. You know why? Because that's hakosha. You could. It's your word against my word. But one person's word can't be against two people.
Right.
So evidently, but it says potter. Rameir mechayev. Rameir says no yechayev. Why? Omer Rameir kal v'chom im eviu shnaim lidei misa chamur lo evi lidei korban akal. If two people could put a person to death, so to bring about an obligation to bring korban, definitely, which is not as severe. Omru lo, so the chachomim say to Reb Meir, man yusalomar mezer, you see. Let's say he would say it's true I ate chelev, but it wasn't inadvertent. I ate it deliberately. Does he bring the korban? Doesn't. So the witness is not saying to what degree. So since he could have extricated himself from this, therefore you believe the person, right? So we're talking about he's contradicting. When he contradicts two, what's the halacha? He's potter. So if he contradicts one, he's also potter, right? Reisha my timer, kamachayve. So why in the Reisha does it say when the eid echod says that he ate, why do you believe him? What do you believe? Is it because he's believed v'otrei ba'alma avgav tkamachshlu inu mehemni v'kapachu rabbanon? Right. Although two witnesses are normally believed, but yet the rabbanon say he's absolved from a korban. Right. So you see, it has nothing to do with the evidence. If it's the evidence, so even when he contradicts them, you should bring it. Right. Because he's saying factually, right? So why is one better than two? So evidently, it's not because of the testimony, but rather, it's your own admission. Elav mishum diishtik, ushtika kodo damya. It's because your silence is the admission. It has nothing to do with the testimony. I'll give you something similar to this. The Gemara says that if, let's say, you want to bring written testimony to court, what's the halacha? It's not valid. It has to be verbal. Why? Because it says, Al pi shnai medim. P, it has to be verbal. Let's say a person records his testimony years earlier, and now, years later, he doesn't have such a accurate memory, and he reads what he'd written down, what he had seen years earlier, and he wants to testify in court. So the Gemara says like this. The Gemara says, if he forgot totally, and even after he read it, he has no recollection, or he doesn't recall the details, that's called mipik sovim. Because what is the source of testimony? What he wrote down, right? But let's say when he reads the paper now that he remembers, then it's valid. Because that was only one, now I'm testing this from memory. Except I needed to read to remember what I originally had seen. So that's what it's saying, the same thing here. If he contradicts you, the witness, even two, you don't bring a korban. Of course, it has to be from your own volition, so to say. right? It should not come from an outside source.
Good.
So if two, you're not, when you contradict, you don't bring korban. So why, when you contradict, you don't bring korban? So why, when you have the one, why do you, yes, bring the korban? Evidently, it's not because what the aide is saying, but it's because what he says, though. You know something? I recall, since an admission, not the admission, because what he did was, he brought back a memory, which I didn't realize. Now I recall, no, it's true, I did eat. Right? I didn't realize, I thought it was kosher, now I realized, I took the wrong piece. It was not kosher. It was chaylev, it was non-kosher fat, it wasn't kosher fat. So back to square one. We wanted to say the basis, why the echad is allowed, we rely on the echad, it's a doraisa, we want to bring a proof from this, there's no proof, right? Because we're saying shtika kodo, elo, svori. It's a svara. There's the famous, see, Rashi and Gittin, Tosas and Gittin brings this, Rashi and Gittin doesn't say this. There's a svara erechad nem bisurin. Why isn't erechad nem bisurin? So Rashi says, what's a svara? Very interesting. He says, Rega, Svari, just a little further. Let's you have a piece of meat, and it's unclear, is it kosher fat or non-kosher fat? A single Wiscom says, I know definitely this is kosher fat. Right? The Behemin, he's believed. So that's the Sforah. So Rashi says, why? Take a look at Rashi. Very fit. How do you know? But how do you know? He was saying, if you have such a thing, you definitely, why would you believe him? So he says, there's no question you believe him. As long as you don't suspect he's maybe lying, you believe him. Why? You invite me to your house. How am I permitted in your house? Because you tell me it's kosher. So therefore, so you tell me, it's evidently, but we know Jews could eat in one another's houses. So therefore, logically means the Torah says Jews are believed to say something's kosher. He says, and even if your wife tells you something's kosher, how do you eat in your own house or your children's house? Because they said so. What, you don't have two witnesses always testifying? Your daughter says it's kosher, you believe her? So that's the svara. Tosas argues in Gittin. Tosas argues in Gittin. Tosas says in Gittin, yeah, Tosas over here brings the same thing. It says that if a woman is a zova, right, is a zova, so she has to count 7 clean days. And then she goes to the mikveh. How does the husband believe her? How does he trust her? How does he believe that she counted? You have to count 7 days. So from there we learn, Eirechot nem bisurin. So Tosas learns the Gzeres HaKosov. Right? The svar is, it says you count, but how do you believe her? Evidently, the Torah is saying, believe her. It's not for see, Rashi is going Svari. It's unrelated to a pasuk. It's purely Svara. Tosas is learning, but how do you understand the pasuk unless you? No, you don't need it, Rashi. You don't need that pasuk. You don't need a pasuk. Pasuk. How does anybody eat in his own house? You have to trust your wife, your children. It's kosher, not kosher. Yep. See if you have the pasuk, then the Gemara's fit, because the Gemara's conclusion is it's svara. So what? Unrelated to the pasuk. Okay. Yeah, Tosas also has this difficult side to it. So now the Gemara has a question. Our case before the Eirechot came. So the Gemara said Eched nem bisurin. Now the case was Sofek Shum and Sofek Chaylev. We're not sure is it kosher fat, not kosher fat. What about something that says Chazik Yisura? I mean, something was presumably not permitted. Now the question is, did a change happen? Right? She was a married woman.
Right.
Now, if a husband dies, that means she's permitted. If he didn't die, she's not permitted. So we want an Eid Echad to change her status. It's not to verify what something is. The question is, did the status change?
When did it?
So it's not comparable to the meat.
Right.
Is it kosher meat, not kosher meat?
Right, if that's the case.
Right? Right? So there's no comparison. The Gemara asked the question. Look, the Gemara says, midami. The case of where it's a question whether it's Shuman or Chaylev, it's not comparable to our case. Hosam lo is Chazik Yisura. There was never established something was Asur. It was only a question of what is it? Hoches chazik yisura. Deishes ish. Firstly, she's a cheskes eishes ish. That's number one. Vein dovish shebe'erva post mishnayim. Secondly, there's a dovish shebe'erva, and then dovish shebe'erva post mishnayim. Right? It's a marital status. One second. So Tosaf himself has a question. According to Tosaf that you learn from the Sofra law, from Nida, Tosaf yes, it says chazik yisura. Right? You hear the kasha Tosaf says. Rashi learns it's a svara, is a kosher, not kosher. That I buy from a kosher shop, not kosher shop. Okay? No, not probability. No, it's a question, is a kosher, not. Here the woman's definitely a nida.
You're presented with facts.
So what is the chazokah?
Right.
Nida.
Yeah.
And yet she's believed to say she's not a nida.
Okay.
So why don't they learn from nida? It's a chazik yisura. That's Tosaf's answer on himself. Tosaf's answer is because it's factually a woman's not a nida forever. Ever. She has a cycle.
Right.
Something's not kosher. A woman's married, she can be married forever.
Right.
So the question is, did he die?
Right.
But a nida, a woman's not a nida forever.
Right.
Therefore, that's the reason why I can't learn from there. It's chazik yisura. Not for kashi. I can't learn to the case of a married woman.
Right.
To the case of the married woman for that reason. Right? It's not. You can't draw that from there. Okay? Someone says, Ludam, he says, you know what our case is compared to? El lechaticha vaday chelev. You hear this? You have a piece of meat that's definitely chelev. We were under the presumption this is definitely chelev. He says you people are mistaken. It's not chelev, it's shuman. You don't believe him because the Neid Echad's not believed. If something was assumed to be something, he's not believed to say it's different than that is. Midabi. Hosam afilu also betray. Afilu beimeya lo behemni. Something which factually is chaylev. They say it's not chaylev, and it is chaylev. Are you going to believe him? Hocha came the chiyosa betray mehemni. Chadi nami mehemni. He says, you know what the difference is? By eshes ish, if two witnesses would come and say her husband died, you believe the two witnesses, right? Something with factually is chaylev. They said it's not chaylev, but if it is chaylev, it's chaylev. Right? If the sun is shining, you have a million who said the sun is not shining. You believe a million witnesses. But here, factually, they said the husband died. So if the two are believed, one is also believed. Chad nami ma'lemni. Why? Somewhere says, it says again, kevados chiyosa beitrei mehemni chad nami lehemni midi de'avei hatevel hegdish v'kodomus. We say that's not the case. Hatevel, tevel. What's the case of tevel? Idi day. Let's say a person had tevel. So what's the presumed status? Tevel meaning you're not permitted to eat it. The person says, you know, it was tithed. Is he believed? He's an Eirechot. He's believed. Why is he believed? You can't draw from there. Why? Bishum de biyad l'sakno. Because there, the chazaka, because he has the ability, it's within his power to correct it, to change it. A third party says, you know, she's not a nation ish. You have nothing to do with that, right? So if it's not comparable. Ella de acher. We're not talking about your tevel, somebody else's tevel. Mike Sova, what do we have the opinion? Ik Sova, Torah b'shalo shel chaveiro, einu tzorach das balim. We say, Zochnod b'shalo b'fonov. If I want to bring something that should benefit you, I don't have to consult with you. Because we say with certainty, you want me, I'm your shliach. See, if you say, I'm tithing from my tevel on your tevel. If you say, a person would be agreeable to that. Mishum, to be again, it's biyadlis. I'm your shliach. Right? Or it's my grain. Viksav das bailim. Amai gobar ano yedano beidim sakin. He gufim. No, how do you know that? If you can't take from yours on his, and you said what I did it, so why are you believed? You're not believed. Hegdish nami. What's hegdish? Ikdush is domim. Something was consecrated. If it's, let's say, a table, we shouldn't be able to lift also. If you consecrate something, I go without your permission, I want to redeem it, I could redeem it. Let's say a person consecrates something and afterwards he goes before a chacham, he says, if I would have known, I wouldn't have consecrated it. It's like a netter. Right. The netter's annulled. So what's the status of the animal? Chulin. Chulin. Elo diachish, somebody else's. He says, I know that the one who consecrated, he went for a chacham and it was annulled. So where is he goofing? No, who said you believed? You're not believed. Again, it's a chazik yisura, right? Konomis nami, person made a neder. If you hold that when you say konim, something should be konim, use that terminology. That it assumes a consecrated status, and its status is kedushas damim, mishum deviyadol liftos, again, because you can redeem it. Iksav emila b'kanamis, if you hold, it's just the iser ba'almo, it's just nis, it's just a netter, it's off limits. The rochav alei akasvei, idi day, mishum deviyadol l'shules. If you're the one who made the netter, fine, because it's within your power to annul the netter. Elo da'acher, v'ma anoya dan di'ichul, more alei, he gufim non, how do you know that? So back to square one. In our case, a woman has a cheskes eishes ish. There's no way you could affect that. So why should he be believed? Eirech and then bisurin is where, firstly, it's by surah, which is not his chazik yisura. Besides being dov shebe'erva. But even if it's yisura, but that's only where it's not his chazik yisura. Where it's not his chazik yisura and it's not biyodo, Eirechot's not believed. So why is the Eirechot believed now? Mishnah, here she has a presumed status, she's an eishes ish. And his testimony wants to change that. Where do we see that an Eid Echad is able to change that? Right? That's the Gemara's kasha. Omreb Zera, you know this. Yeah. Because of the ultimate stringency that we say the child's a mamzer even from the first one. And both of them have to divorce her. We're reading, there's going to be a third degree. We're throwing the book at her. So because we're going to be so harsh with her at the end of the day, therefore, we're lenient. We say, we believe even in Eid Echad. Rabbinically. It's rabbinical. Okay. Rabbinical. So the Gemara asks, Lo lichma v'lo leiko. What do you have to be stringent at the end? Don't be lenient at the beginning. We're saying, what are we? We're revoking, we're annulling the marriage. Right? The Chacham are annulling the marriage. You know why we annul it? Based on testimony 1, because we're so strict at the end of the day. So don't be lenient at the beginning of the day. Why be lenient? And if the guy shows up, you're going to be strict. To be machmir to that degree, don't be lenient initially. That Gemara says, "Mishmiguna kol berabonon." The reason why we want to be lenient, otherwise she's going to be held up for the rest of her life. So therefore, but we say, something, you better check it out to the nth degree, because if the husband ever shows up, you're going to pay the price in spades.
But she's got in front of the Sanhedrin, right? She's got in front of the.
Not Sanhedrin, no Sanhedrin.
She goes in front of the judges, and she's declaring.
She's not declaring. Eid Echad comes as, I was at this woman's funeral,
right, and
I saw him being put in the ground, okay?
Right.
He's dead. So we said, why do we allow her to get married? Based on testimony. Why? Iguna.
Yeah, so
wait, what's Iguna? What's Iguna mean?
That you would be locked in forever.
So therefore, that's what we're leaning to. But the Torah doesn't allow an Eid Echad to be believed.
But in this case...
No, Torah still doesn't allow it. They're revoking the marriage. They're annulling the marriage.
That's because she went in front of the judges, right?
No, in every case, Eid Echad, the Chachamim annul the marriage. Of course it has to be before Bezdin, but it's not this Bezdin is annulling it. The Chazal said, a woman who has an Eid Echad testified her husband died, we revoke the marriage. So that means retroactively she was never married to the first guy.
No.
Well, she could, no, but rabbinically she can't marry a Kohen. Rabbinically, on total marriage, but she could marry a Kohen. Right? Okay? So, but when are we, it's a conditional revocation. If the husband doesn't show up, we see her as a single woman. The husband ever shows up, we would never revoke, she was a married woman. We see it as adultery, and therefore we throw the book at her. Because we said, we'll allow you, we'll revoke it conditionally that you check it out to the nth degree. So that he showed up is an indication he did not. Okay? Not too complicated.
No, good.
Teitzi mizeh mizeh. What's the first time to say? She has to leave both husbands. This sort of, even though she's an anusa. No, it's rabbinical. It's rabbinical. But the Gemara was saying even if it's not, even as an eirech, what's even the consideration? It's chazik yisura. More comes out. You're right. It's chazik. It has nothing of the raisa. The eirech is definitely not believed, and also because davar sheberva. But we annul the marriage retroactively, so that's the case. She's not a davar sheberva. Because kol mekadosh not rabbanon mekadosh, right? So it was al das Moshe Yisrael. So we say if this should ever happen, it's not. That's what they said. Okay, teitzi mizeh mizeh. Omer Rav, what?
You have to leave both.
the second husband's understood,
Right.
but even the first husband, even though she's nanuso, even though she didn't commit adultery, right? She believed the single witness, but since she didn't check it out, we penalize her, right? It's a penalty. Aval nisis al pishnai edim. What about initially the evidence was two? Lo teitze, she does not leave the first husband. No, of course the second husband. The first husband. Second husband, she's Neshes Ish. Right? Right? This is Rav. Rav says when it says that she's Teitze Mizeh Mizeh from both, that's only if it was based on testimony of one witness. But it's testimony of two, then she doesn't have to leave the first husband. Mochaleb Marova. Yeah? So when they heard Rav's psak, they started to laugh at him. And they started to laugh. Osa Gavra V'koi V'atavret Lo Seitze. Wait 1 second. Yeah. But this is a Bishnedim. The guy came back. Yeah. So he says, you know what it's speaking about? Osa Gavra. Osa Gavra V'koi V'atavret Lo Seitze. Right? The husband's here. What do you mean Lo Seitze? Lo tzricho, lo yadinin like. A man shows up. We don't know who the guy is. He claims he's the original husband. Nobody recognizes him. Id lo yadinin like. Beid echor, amay teitze. So if you only have one age, right? It's even eid echor, why should she go out? Right? The man, just because he says, I'm Chaim Yankel, doesn't mean anything. Right? Lo tzricho, osu beitrei. From the time we traveled overseas originally, we've been together for 30 years, and this is the same guy who went out with us. 1 second. Wait. You don't recognize these two ones. You don't recognize them. Why? Yosef recognized his brothers, but they didn't recognize him. So why was it only a one-sided deal? The answer is because initially Yosef, when he sold into slavery, he didn't have a beard. His brothers already had a beard, right? So the same thing. He says, I've been with him all the years. I saw him age. That's what I'm telling you. It's the same. They don't recognize him. Somewhere says training, right? Two witnesses say it's not, and two witnesses say he is. 1 second. Right? So, but still, how could Rav say lo seitze? Minimally, you need noshim tolui. Right? It's a suffix. Did she commit adultery? Did she not commit adultery? Well, the others won't say we don't recognize him. The community said we don't recognize the guy. No, the two witnesses say we went out with him. Right.
The witness, the village.
He's the original husband. So if that's the case, you can't have no say. No, the other two say, no, he's not the husband. The husband died. Yeah, that's why. They said he died. And they say, no, he's the guy, we've been with him. We don't, it doesn't make a difference. So that's a trade. That's it. Of course, that's what he said. When do we say teitze? Only 8 echot. 2 witnesses, no teitze. Marsak say, no teitze, the man is here. Right? The whole world could say, if we know this is the husband, the whole world says he's dead. Could he be dead? He's here. The answer is these 2 witnesses say, we saw him die. 2 witnesses say, we've been with him all along. So they said, this can't be the same guy. We saw the guy dead. We saw him die. So it's a trail tray. Somebody says, if that's the case, how could you say, lo seitze, the halach is abo leboshim tolui, right? It's noshim tolui. Right, a person had a suffix, did he eat chaylev, did he not eat chaylev? Right, what's the halacha? You have to bring a noshim tolui. So Tosi asks a question. Avgav the Rabbi chatichum achas mishtei chatichos. Yeah? Even though normally, if you have a piece of shuman, you have a piece of kosher fat, non-kosher fat. You eat one of the two pieces, then there's a question of what? Osham Toli. Because in the mixture, but let's say you have one piece, and it's a question, is it chaylev or is it shuman? And you ate it, Rav holds you don't have to bring an Osham Toli. So, no, because you have to have a basis to say that it's there. So over here, there's a question. Two say he's dead. Two say he's alive. So it's like, is it kosher fat or not kosher fat? It's like one piece. So how could the Gemara ask on Rav, Habole Boshim Tolui? According to Rav, you don't have to bring an Oshim Tolui. That's Tosa's question. Okay? Tosa discusses it. Omer of Shesis, she married one of the witnesses. Yeah, there's two witnesses come and say, husband died. She goes and marries one of the two. The two witnesses who testified, which is permitted. Which is permitted. Now, two witnesses. No, he married afterwards. What kind of conflict of interest? No conflict.
He has the conflict.
Who has the conflict of interest?
So if he
Two
marries
witnesses
her-
come and say a woman's husband died.
Right.
Now
And
afterwards, they start dating and he marries her. What's
Right.
wrong with it? What kind of conflict of interest is it?
There's no self-interest there? No?
No. He married afterwards.
Okay.
He's married 5 years.
All right, good.
Now all of a sudden two witnesses say, this is the husband.
Right.
So you can't say Habola Hashem Tolui. Because the person over here who's saying that,
Believe.
no, that he's dead,
Yeah.
he knows it firsthand.
Right.
He has no suffix. If it's a third party, you say, who do I believe? The first two or the second two?
Right.
But if he's the witness himself, he has no suffix. He guva b'Hashem Tolui. You hear this? So if that's the case, even he made it. But she should have to bring an Hashem Tolui. Right? Because she doesn't know. So Mar says, Bomer is Borili. He says, I know he's dead. She says Borili. She says, you know, he gave me certain indication that was my husband. Therefore, it's Borili. Because Rashi says, don't tell me you have to bring Hashem Toli if you have some degree of doubt in your heart.
Okay.
She has no degree of doubt in her heart. Right? So what's the chidush? If it's trey, what's the chidush? What's Rav saying? If you have trey, and she married the witness, what's Rav told me chidush? Right? Afilu Reb Nachum Reb Yossi. Lo kamar el shabo edim v'achach nisis. He says, even Reb Nachum Yossi says that's only shabo edim that she got married. So avol nisis v'achach bo edim lo Omar. Even he agrees. If you the Tanya Shnayim Omrim Meis. Shnayim Omrim no Meis. Two witnesses say the husband died. Says trey. Shnayim Omrim Nizgar. Shnayim Omrim no Nizgarsha. Harei lo si no say. She's not permitted to get married, right? Because it's a suffix. She's a suffix Eishes Ish. The does two say he died. Two say he didn't die. Two say she was divorced. Two say she wasn't divorced. Los nisis lo say two. Let's say if she gets married, we allow her to remain married. Why? Because it's a suffix, right?
Because of the Edim?
Because we say that, well, she says she's divorced. She's saying, I'm divorced. She says, my husband died.
Right.
So do we ignore what she says, or do we just look at the witnesses?
Good.
So the first Tanakh says they shouldn't get married, but if she gets married, then she stays married. She stays married. Rab Nachum Reb Yossi Omatetze, no. Since already she got married in the context of Suffolk, he has to divorce her. Omer Reb Nachum, Eimas ani Omatetze b'zman shebo eidim v'akach nisis. When do I say that she has to be divorced if already the Suffolk pre-existed the marriage? Abul nisis v'akach bo eidim. But let's say the trey came about after the marriage. Harizu lo seitze. Okay? Then she lo seitze. So therefore, that's okay. That's the chiddush over here. We're speaking about she married one of the witnesses. When did she marry him initially? That subsequently the other two showed up. So Rav's chiddush is no, that even if she married before the witnesses came, that's the chiddush. If it would be afterwards, the witnesses came. So Rav, what are you telling me? You tell me the sun is shining.
Right.
Everybody agrees that case. No, he's coming to say no. Even if the witnesses came before they were married, and what I'm telling you, she's permitted to remain with her husband, to tell me that we don't rule like Reb Nachum Reb Yossi. We don't rule this way. What? Yeah, that's Rob saying. Even if they were married after the Edom came, they remain married because we don't rule like Reb Nachum Reb Yossi. That's what he's saying. That's the Chiddush of Rav. The question originally was, Rav, what's your Chiddush? Everybody agrees she remained married. Says, no, Rav is talking where they were married after the Edom came. Because he said, we pascha like the Tanakama. We rule like the Tanakama, we don't take Reb Nachum Reb Yossi into account. So what about the Tanakama says, even after Trey, it says Lo Seitze, right? That's the Tanakama. No, even with Bori leads away, but it's still it's a suffix, right? To Bezdin's a suffix. The answer is, as I said, if she's saying Bori and the witness is saying Bori, right? He said I witnessed it. The witnesses cancel one another out, right? Therefore, she's believed. No. No, if you have to say that they don't cancel each other out. They don't cancel each other out. If they cancel each other out, then you're left with nothing. They don't cancel each other out. So therefore, the aide who married her, he says, I know the truth. I know I saw her husband die. She says, Bori Lee, that what? That my husband's dead. So there's no basis. The only reason why you can't remain married is because it's a suffix. They say we have no suffix. And I have what to rely on? Because I have my husband. He was together with another man. The Bezdin has the suffix. They don't have the suffix. If it would be a third party, we'd say they have to get divorced. Because factually, you have a suffix. Right. He says, I don't have a suffix. She says she doesn't have a suffix. So you let them remain married. I mean, your question is even a question of Nachum Yosef, right? Because he says, what happens if they get married, then the witnesses come? Even he agrees this, Lo Seitze. It's a suffix. Same question. Right? The same question. Yeah, it makes no difference. So the answer is the witnesses always remain intact. They don't cancel each other out. And it's speaking, she married her own witness, the one who said that he's dead. No, he got married afterwards. Right. Okay? The reason why is because she got married and the witness came. But if she would have gotten married after they would get, she'd have to divorce her. Come on, Reb Yossi. Mosef Rovi Minayin Shim Lo Rotzu. 1 second. Minayim Shlo Rotzu. Kohen Liskadesh Min Tumas Umnoshim Psulis. Let's say a man went to the cemetery who was married to a woman who was what's it called? Wasn't permitted to him. Right? What's the word over here? Minayim Shemrod Lotza Depanu. He ko. No? We remove him. Rashi says he ko. Ki dashto bal korcho. Right? Man's married to a woman that he's not permitted to marry. How do we know that we force him to separate and divorce? Says you have to sanctify him whether he likes it or not. Bal korcho. Echidami. If she married somebody who's not her what? One of the witnesses and she's borrowed the panu. Of course you divorce. It's a suffix dorai. She's a suffix ish. Elo lav de dislech me there v'komra borili. Uktani the panu. And it says yet you force them to separate. Almad mafkid leminei. On the answer, our answer is isakuna shiny. It's a different level. If it's an ordinary Jew, we allow them to remain married. Right? Where she married one of the witnesses, and what? And she says Borili. Mm-hmm. But if it's, right? But for a Kohen, we're not going to tolerate it. We're not going to, even though on the Torah it's okay. Kohen shiny. Even according to Rav. Okay? Ibo seimo, man depanu beidim. Yeah? Meaning, why do we force to go out? Because it's speaking, we're going to Ika de Amri. She got married after the witnesses were there. My depanu beidim. The reason why we're forcing her out is because we're through Eidim. Yeah, Rashi says, Bezdin musorim l'troch hacharedim lahaktish es rishonim hamatir also kedei lakadish es hakohen. So it's the end of mishanisis lo tzeitzei. Lol, this is going to bo Eidim akach. This is bohomodi rav. Okay, Ibo say mishubo Eidim akach nisis. Rabbi Nachman, Rabbi Yossi, Rav Ashi, my lo tzeitzei to come a rav lo tzeitzei meter rishon. Amrachad zimno the nan. Okay, we'll stop here.